Hey, this is David Frederick from Christian Life Church in Middlesex, New Jersey. So glad you're able to join me for the Sunday review video, and I hope you're able to join us for the Sunday service as well. If you were with us this last week, you know that Pastor spoke from Mark chapter 14, verses 1 through 11, and from Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, in a sermon that he titled, Peace, the Total Makeover. This specific passage is about the story of Mary when Jesus is sitting down towards the end of his life, and Mary comes in and anoints him with oil, and the disciples question this, but Jesus acts as a protector for Mary, and he quickly puts them away, saying what she is doing is for me, and it is good for her to do this. It doesn't need to be given to the poor. So Pastor really wanted to talk about this idea of peace, and specifically peacemaking. So for most of us, our idea of peace is an absence of stress. We all want peace, something that we want in our lives, a life free of stress and carefree, what we would call peaceful. But Pastor asked, do we really pursue peace? Do we drive after it and chase after it? Next, Pastor talked about the difference between peacekeeping and peacemaking, whereas peacekeeping was just settling a dispute between people. Peacemaking is a call that God gives us to put aside differences and our rivalries and to reconcile with those who are in opposition with us. Then Pastor went into Jesus' ministry, and he brought out 3 things about Jesus and his ministry of peace, how he provided peace with those around him, people who were reacting to him. The first people he made peace with were his jealous rivals. This is the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the teachers of the law at that time. And for them, Jesus didn't meet their expectations. And they also had this power struggle that they really wanted to keep control of the people. And so Jesus had to make peace with them. He couldn't flip when they tried to persecute him or trap him in his words. Next, within Jesus' ministry, Jesus had to make peace with his loyal, yet rather insensitive followers. Specifically, these people actually misunderstood Jesus, even though they did long to be with him, to long to hear him teach, to give them food most of the time. These people did not understand the real reason for why Jesus was coming. And so you can imagine that Jesus would probably, or any normal person in Jesus' shoes would probably get upset or annoyed over the fact that these people, though he talked to them constantly and gave them insight about the kingdom of God, did not understand his calling. They believed that he was coming as a king or a ruler to overthrow Rome, even though many times he plainly stated that this is not what his calling was. And so in this case, we see that loyalty, the loyalty that these people had, did not really equal love to Jesus. The third person or group that Jesus had to make peace with was a secret enemy, and we know this to be Judas, one of his own disciples whom he had called. He had to make peace with Judas. In this case, we see that Judas believed that Jesus was not who he thought he was. And even though Judas was part of these 12 people that Jesus had called to follow him, doing the action of simply following Jesus was not being like Jesus for Judas, and because he wasn't able to grasp onto that, he went astray. So Jesus even had to deal with a person who was trying to betray him in his own midst. And so how did Jesus do this? Well, in Ephesians 2 verse 14 to 15, it says that Jesus made peace by changing and transforming us through the cross. And so in the story, like with Mary, this causes us to give God our best, our attention, our time, and effort. It causes us to give everything we have and everything we are to Jesus. And in response to this, God gives us an eternal peace, a special peace, which fills us completely. And so why is this important to us? Well, in Matthew 5 verse 9, it says that the Son of God was a peacemaker. And so in the same way, if we want to be children of God, if we want to be dedicated to serving God, we need to be peacemakers in our society. Not simply getting agitated when things don't go our way. To see people who we would otherwise see as rivals and still decide to reconcile to them and make peace with them in everything that we do. And through doing this, we live as sons and daughters of Christ. If you want to check out the full sermon, please be sure to head to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CLC Middlesex. You can head there for more information on our church, access to all our review videos, our Wednesday night Bible studies, as well as our weekly sermons and worship services as well. So please be sure to head there. And with that, thank you, and God bless.